buddy? What's going on, everybody? So today I'm going to be giving you guys an update on the garden. I'm going to show you different pests that are actually in the garden, show you the hard work that it takes to maintain a decent sized garden. Also, I've left some of the pests that come into the garden, and I'll talk about what I do to get rid of them. So, all right, guys, so we're going to start with the lima bean plants. As you can see, we've got flowers, which means the lima beans will start to form. We'll give it a nice little water since it's in the 90s here. Just a decent little water. Not too much because it's in a nice shaded area. Next to it, we've got some collards, which I actually just stripped those. And I'll talk about why I've got these nets over them shortly. All right, and as we move over, we've got kiwi plants here. And I've actually planted these from seed from kiwis that I brought from the grocery not long ago. So I think I planted these maybe in March, I want to say, and they're doing all right. I had to move them from their original spot because the sun was beating them up pretty good. So we've got banana pepper here. Water it just a little bit. Bell pepper here, water it a little bit. And it's looking like we'll start to get some peppers on these maybe within the next week or two. So I'll keep you guys posted. Next to the peppers, we've got pollinators. So we need something to attract the pollinators. All right, so we can make sure the plants that need it get pollinated properly. All right, so here we've got another pepper plant here. I want to say this is another banana plant, and we have a tomato. And I'll put this in this shaded area. This is one of my backup tomato plants here, and it's starting to do good. I wasn't quite sure how it would do in a shaded area, but what I'm gonna do, I don't know if you can see, we've got like some little disease forming on these leaves here. So I'm gonna just prick them off. All right, prick those off, prick this one off, because we don't want that disease to spread all over. I'm gonna take that one too. All right, so as you guys can see, I don't know if you guys can see it, but you can see that the leaves going into a disease state. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stake this tomato plant here. It's gonna start to get a little heavy pretty soon. All right, and then I'm just gonna wrap this around it so they can stay upright and not, you know, start to lean over the place. And tomatoes, you know, they start kind of slow and then they start to pick up pretty quickly as it warms up. So this is what I like to do with this. Now I'm gonna give it a nice decent little water here. I'll probably start to mulch this pretty soon so that it'll retain the moisture. Again, this is kind of a trial run for me. I didn't know what to expect with it being in the shade. So, and up above, it looks like this pot of flowers died and it's starting to come back. The wind really beat those up. Got more flowers here, so we gotta have those pollinators. Down below, I had to strip my cauliflower, and I always grow these in the shaded spot. I have this net to cover the different pests that try to attack it. And poor little plant, I had to strip it all off because the critters got to them. More pollinators. Another plant beat up in the wind. Elephant ears. All right, so we've made our way to the front. And you can see we have a pest on the kale plant here. And basically in these situations, I'll just take them off, you know, place them somewhere else and let him kind of develop into what he does from there. And I'll check the back, you know, to make sure nothing's on there. And as we can see in the center, they've got eggs hatched all through there. So what I do is take my sprayer here and I'll just spray it down with water. This way, I don't have to use any pesticides, and I use a more manual method. I don't want any chemicals in the food that I eat, so I make sure I spray them down with water really good with a lot of pressure. Sometimes they come back, sometimes they don't, but that's what I like to do. Plant here, this one looks to be pretty healthy here. Give it a nice little water. Got a banana plant here, give it some water. And these plants are really hungry, so you can feed them every day, water. Some people like to give them fertilizer. I'm not really a big fertilizer person either. I'm just a pretty much dirt and water type of person, and that works pretty good. Water some of the pollinators. You're gonna get to that kale plant over here. Lemon tree. And I water these every couple days or so. Another banana plant here. This is a different variety than the first one. Got a pineapple. I don't really water this one too much. It doesn't really do well watering all the time, so you can see the pineapple forming there. Another banana plant. Gonna make sure we water this one really good. Try to get some bananas before the summer is over, but we'll see what happens. All right, so we got a lemon tree here. Got a mandarin orange, another lemon tree, grapefruit tree, another banana here. Another banana here. Water these really good. Cherry tree here. I'm gonna show you guys another pest on this tree in just a second. On this banana plant here, you can see we've got a beetle here. And these beetles are notorious for tearing the plant apart, especially starting with the leaves. And any tree that's really weak, they really feed on those as well. So what I do in these situations is the same thing I did before. And he looks like he just ran away. I don't know where he went, but maybe I'll find him in a bit. He knew I was gonna get him. But in those situations, I'll just grab him and take him off and place him somewhere else. So this is a cabbage. I actually picked the head off of it, and I left the plant here, watered it. This is maybe week number 2, and you can see there's 2 heads forming here. So if you guys are removing your cabbage heads, just let the plant sit and see if it'll give you more harvest. All right, so this is a zucchini plant. I've been pruning it just because it's near the front door. You guys can see we have one here. I'm gonna go ahead and harvest it. All right, so I'm gonna come here and just chop it off here. We've got a decent sized zucchini here. Just gonna water it a little bit. Doesn't need much because of the mulch here. Water my pollinators we got here. Another plant here. It's been holding up pretty well. More plants. Here we have a crab apple tree. Go ahead and water it pretty good. And as you can see, we've got other pollinators here. We've got a melon here. So this is actually not the cantaloupe, but the honeydew melon. And I haven't seen any honeydews forming just yet, but we'll go ahead and give it a water too. You can see flowers. I guess they may not be getting pollinated. I'm not sure. And below you can see we have a pumpkin here. And I'll show you guys a bigger one in the back. Now, another thing you can do in these situations is you can allow the plant to go to seed. And what that means is once you're done harvesting, the plant is done, it'll go to what they call the seed. So it'll produce pods like these, And then if I open this up, like this was a mustard green plant before. If I open it up, you'll see little seeds in here. All right. So these are teeny tiny seeds. I don't know if you guys can see them in my hands, but these are the seeds, and then you can replant them next year. You don't have to worry about buying more seeds. All right, so below we've got the pumpkin growing here. And we can see that it's starting to turn orange. Next to the pumpkins, we've got more tomatoes growing here because you can never have too many. And this is where I have the pumpkin in the back planted here. Just gonna water it down really good. Got some collards growing here. Got a cabbage growing here, which is almost done. And give it a nice little water in here. And I like to use these nets to keep pests off. Or collards. Another pot of collards here. All right, so now we're gonna make our way across where there's a lot going on back here. So let's get going. All right, so in this column here, I've got some new seeds of cabbage, and I also have Swiss chars in here. I'm still waiting on them to sprout up. I think it's been a little bit too hot for them to germinate. But behind, we've got black-eyed peas growing here. So we can see we've got a pod here. We've got a couple pods here. They're really starting to produce and push them out. And I mean, we'll be eating these all winter long. Newly planted collards back here. Hopefully they'll pop up as well. Got more collards back there. In this bed here, we've got cherry tomatoes, and I'll pick some of those in just a bit. We've got peppers here. I'll go ahead and give these pollinators a nice water. I've got new beans that I planted maybe 10 days ago down here with peppers back there. And I've got collards that I've picked bare pretty much here with net shielded around it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick some of these tomatoes off. The ones that are gonna pollinate on this here. So you can see some of them are turning red here. Put them in my bag here. Gonna take these back here too. Let's see how we get to them. Just take one at a time on this. All right, so we can see they're starting to ripen. Got some pollinators here behind me. Got some okra plants growing here. Make sure I water these pretty good. And if we look in here, you see a flowers going there. That's where okra's gonna grow. All right, so here we've got the melons. Gonna water these pretty good. You see a little melon growing there. And these are watermelon. So we got watermelon growing there. One growing there. I'll come around so you can get a better view. So these are the sugar baby watermelons. Just gonna make sure we water these real good because they need plenty of water. Hence is why they call it the watermelon, right? Beans growing here. Let's see if I've left any left to grow back. There's one there. Let's see. There's one there. So they're in here. More collards. Spray these hard to get the pests off. Even with the nets on them, the pests found their way in there. Got some kales going back here. Got more beans growing here. Planted those about 10 days, well, no, maybe about 2 weeks ago. Should we water that stuff good? Got more beans back here. We'll take a better look in just a sec. Way back around, a ton of tomatoes growing on this plant here. I mean, it's just crazy. You zoom in a bit. Look at all those tomatoes. Tomatoes here, tomatoes there. It's just tomato crazy. More collards. I'm watering one of the other watermelon varieties here. All right, so this is a Crimson Sweet growing here. As I stated before, across the way on the other side, we've got more Sugar Baby. So we're really getting the watermelons going. Got another zucchini here. I actually just harvested a really big one the other day, so maybe in a few days we'll have another one. Finish watering the other side of the water. Behind me we've got more okra. So you can never have too much okra. And I'll actually harvest a few in just a second here. Harvest some of the okra. So I've got one here I'm gonna take. See, it's a pretty nice size. Got another one here I'm gonna take. Got another one growing here. I'm gonna wait a bit on that one. Got a really big one here. Gonna take. So these are some decent sized okra. Got another one here. I'm gonna take it. Got one down here. Starting to drop them. But as you can see, we've got okra, and I'll probably fry these this week sometime. So these are the purple green beans here. You can see we got some growing back here too. We got some in here. So they're starting to produce, but what I've noticed is they don't produce as much as the yellow ones do. And behind the purple beans, we've got some baby okras that just pushed up. So it's important that we keep this nice and moist over here. We don't want it too dry, but not over the top moist. And actually the other day I planted some broccoli over here. We'll see if they push up this week. Here, see if we got any we can pull today. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get these maybe another couple days. This one maybe even another 10 to 14 days. So I'll probably give you guys a video once I harvest one. But yeah, some of these have a little ways to go, but these are just about there. So we'll keep an eye on these. Got some black beans back here, and they don't really seem to like this really hot weather. And next to it, we've got some lettuce that's going to seed. All the lettuce that I had from the cooler months, I've already pulled those up, and I'm actually going to let these go to seed and use those seeds for the next cool season, which I'll probably start planting maybe at the end of August. And then behind, we've got more tomatoes. Can't have too many of these. All right, so as we close things out, we've got the apple tree. We got an apricot tree here. They have yet to produce any fruit just yet. We've got a peach tree here. Below, we've got kale. We've got some strawberries here. And I pretty much eat these daily. Blueberries. Haven't started producing any fruit just yet, but gotta be a little bit patient. We got some broccoli growing here. All right, so this is what we've got today. Got some tomatoes, zucchini, okra. As these weeks go on, I'll kind of show you guys, you know, what I'll be harvesting. All right, guys, so that's what we've got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And until next time,